background.
Pardon?
It always sucks being in the background now.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. I keep thinking, well, I ought to put some sides on the trailer rather than, but it just, yeah, it just doesn't need it on top, and then you just blow it into the back. But it's one of those things on a list of jobs, and it's pretty low down there. Good morning, welcome back to Jim's Farming. So today I'm back on farm at home, and I was planning on having an early start, getting another nitrogen application on our wheat. However, we've just had a lorry turn up with a load of cake for our ewes, so just hooked to the trailer that we get that blown into, and just get that unloaded. So probably not going to be able to get any fertiliser on until nearly lunchtime, but should hopefully get it all covered off today, all being well, but who knows what else might turn up. Pretty dusty now, but that's all in, and I stand corrected, it was actually lamb pellets. Bit of a dusty job. Not really sure we got the most ideal setup for getting blowing cake into the trailer there. I just normally put a couple of boards on top and get it blasted in, but if anybody's got any other simple cheap solutions of any better ways we could do it, I'll be most grateful. Just getting doing a bit of spreading. Already done one field, stopped for a bit of lunch, and just done about half of this one. I think this is probably not our best looking wheat. There were potatoes on this field and the one over there, the other side of the hedge, last year, and probably the wheat wheat here is looking better than anywhere else, I think. This little seed down there in the ditch is potatoes again. That's another one of our fields. We let a bit of potato grown to a local grower. Most years, I think next year there won't be any in the rotation, but they normally have a bit. Back in the autumn it worked quite well because the weather was good and actually the wheat went in quite nicely. However, the previous year, which was an absolute washout, we failed to get anything planted on them in the autumn, and actually we had peas on the one patch and we put a cover crop on the other, just to help condition the soil a bit. But now they're back into wheat again now, but they're not really looking that great. Not looking as forward as this anyway, considering they were drilled a little bit before these. But anyway, I'll get back to drilling. Spreading. Just moved into another field. This wheat here, and the field that I've just done, were both after rain, and we used up a little bit of seed we had left over from 2019 that we didn't get planted. And actually they were looking very, very poor up until quite recently. I think just over keeping the seed for a year, just kind of lost a bit of vigour. And also as soon as we planted it, we had probably 1.5 inches of rain. A couple of days later, and that didn't help at all. But actually, as it's grown, it's looking a lot better. It's kind of interesting is in the previous fields, I've run out of the old seed and we bought some new, and you can really see quite a clear, defined line where the old seed finishes and the new seed starts, and also there's new seed on the headlands, and the headlands are just so much better. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind in the future. Probably wasn't in such a rush with the pressure of the rain coming. I could have perhaps mixed it in a bit, and that product might have helped just even it up. But to be fair, on the whole now, it's all looking pretty good. It's nowhere near as good as the wheat after the spuds. It's a little bit patchy in places. A few places where there was quite a bit of water hanging on these fields. Yeah, but actually, quite happy where we are with it all. A bit of rain now after this fertiliser's gone on. We'll probably do the world of good if it comes. My old dog, T-Dog, in the cab with me today. Little day out for her. Gets pretty excited when she sees a pheasant. We've got a few hares about actually on these fields, but I haven't seen any in the morning. Just on a field called Ritchie. This one had a cover crop on it last summer. It was a mixture of all sorts. Celia, which was really pretty blue flowering plants, millets, clover, mustard, I think there were a few others in there. Topped it off. Probably June time, but by sort of August it had grown again, and the millet was absolutely enormous. Yeah, it just kind of, it sort of conditioned the soil a bit, so they made a bit of a mess on it, lifting the potatoes, which is always the risk when you let ground to somebody else. So it's kind of screwed our rotations up a little bit, because it means we've got a hell of a lot of wheat in this year, and we'll probably have a few second wheats in next year. It's predominantly growing a variety called Graham this year, which is very popular in this area on the west of England. The last couple of years we've grown Costello. We've still got a little bit of Costello. As you can see, we had left over, and we also brought some new in. It'll be interesting to see how the two compare. They're both feed varieties. The Costello has been pretty good the last couple of years. It's got very high bushel weight and pretty good clean resistant variety. So we're quite happy with that. But I just kind of fancied spreading this a bit, trying something a bit different. And I think the grain has a slightly better yield. So following on from the cover crop, there's also a bit of a frustration. There's also a bit of a problem with cleavers in this field. I've sprayed it once already, but I think, having had a walk over it the other day, I'm going to have to go over it again. They're absolutely horrendous things. They really swamp the crop. They get away, get them out of control. This was the first field we drilled this year. We bought a new drill in the autumn, well, new to us. It was a 2013 Lemkin solitaire combination, just Cultus. Actually went up to Scotland to view it. It looked pretty good. So, certainly an upgrade from our old forward drill that we had before. Seems to have done a pretty nice job putting most of the crops in. Lemkin seem very popular around here. But this field has got some terrible ruts on the tramlines. Down there is absolutely shocking, absolutely horrendous to turn onto. I think that wet 2019 potato lifting on this field really knocked the soil structure out. And then when I came to spray in the autumn, I left some terrible ruts. And they've just got worse and worse. Also, interestingly, in this field, it was the second field I drilled with our Lemkin that we had last year, and typically something went wrong. Started over here by this hedge, and as I got to the first tram line, one of my tramline shut off motors decided to jam itself shut. So when it came up, every run there was two coulters shut off right the way across the field. I only discovered just as I was drilling the headland. I always check I've got seed going through when I start the field, and I've had that drummed into me by my father. Fortunately you can't see this from the road too well, but anyway, I had a spare sort of spare Sunday morning after this wheat had come up, and you could quite clearly see the misses, and I made myself a little drill fed by a funnel and a bucket with a bit of leftover seed. But he drove it up and down the roads with a quad bike and filled in the gaps, and you can kind of see them down there. It's actually obviously went on a bit thick there, but I've tidied it up a bit, certainly for me driving up and down. There's another one driving up and down on the sprayer. Don't have to look at it, but yeah, you can kind of see it perfectly down there. But yeah, it's worked pretty well. On the whole, there's another row. Yeah, I'll pop a video up of me sat on the back of the quad bike feeding it with a bit of leftover seed. Yeah, you can see ruts here that are absolutely horrendous. Turning in on these is horrible, especially on that tractor with no suspension and no air seat, so you're gonna have to go pretty steady. There's another miss. I think I just drove a bit wide there. There's another miss, another one. Didn't get very good seed placement here, but then there you go. Should have probably made it with 2 coulters, but all it was an old flat left point, an old Hoover pipe, an old bit of seed pipe off a drill, bit of chain, an old tine, and a tyre, and yeah, I'm quite pleased with it actually. And there you go, you go and spend thousands on a drill and get the same result. Although I think I'd be quite a while drilling the whole field with a quad bike with a single coulter. Be constantly fetching seed, wouldn't really work that well. But, it's such a nice day. We have absolutely, I don't know if you can hear, but there's a skylark up there. You don't be able to see it, but we have absolutely loads of skylarks around here. Really nice to hear them. Noisy little sods. There we go, everyone has a little miss. That's the neighbours, and they got Green Star, an RTK. So, I don't know, mistakes happen. Just back of the yard, got everything spread today. Only job to do now is just give the first spreader a bit of a rinse off, a bit of a wash down, and I'll probably do that now. Because that nitram is pretty horrible stuff. It tends to eat every possible bit of metal that it's in contact with. So yeah, I'll just give it a wash down and probably leave it overnight to dry off, and then I usually spray it down with a mixture of diesel and oil just to help protect it, stop it rusting, and that'll be good to put away and ready to go again. I've got one more pass of nitrogen, and then all the fert spreading for the year's done. Although there might be a bit to go on some of the grassland. I did put some on just before I started planting spuds, but there's just want a good soak of rain. Kind of the dry, windy weather we've been having just seems to be sucking the life out of everything at the moment. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you again. If you've got any questions, just throw me a comment. Thanks.